public life that I welcome this kind of examination because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
Everything you know. Everything you think you know about the Watergate Scandal is false.
But don't worry, today we'll teach you.
And your hosts are...
I'm Julie.
And I'm Alex. And we are the Big Enchilada. Before we start, we want to thank our sources. teachdemocracy.org, vault.fbi.gov, nixonlibrary.org, fordlibrarymuseum.gov, and millercenter.org. And to our best source of all, Miss Hollander.
President Richard Nixon served his first term from 1969 to 1973.
During his first term, his goal was to bring the American people together, with his main achievements being stopping American fighting in the Vietnam War and improving foreign relations with the Soviet Union and China.
After his term ended, the Committee to Re-elect the President, or the CRP, worked on plans to sabotage the Democratic candidate, George McGovern, through illegal surveillance.
I wonder what would happen if that scandal happened today.
That's a good question. Let's take a trip back to May 28, 1972, and we'll see what actually happened.
5 burglars hired by the CRP burglarized the Democratic National Committee headquarters in the Washington, D.C. Watergate complex.
The same men returned on June 17th, and this time they got caught and arrested at 2:30 a.m.
On June 19th, the Washington Post reported that the burglars had a connection to the directors of the CRP.
John Mitchell, who is the head of the CRP and former Attorney General, denied these claims.
On August 1st, the Washington Post reported a deposited check into the account of one of the burglars.
A check of $25,000. Imagine what you could buy with that. Wait, I know what I would get.
Get your Nixon Maxing hat now. Only $50 on the official Nixon Library Foundation website. Available only for a limited time. Promotional discounts do not apply.
Anyways, you'll never guess who it was linked to.
Who?
The CRP.
Oh! President Nixon and John Hettleman, one of his top staff, whoever made the decision to break in was about as stupid as I ever heard.
On August 30th, it was claimed that John Dean, the White House counsel, investigated the crime and found that no one in the White House was involved. How convenient.
By August 31st, it was reviewed by a survey that 57% of people have heard about the scandal.
The majority of people believed it wasn't anything serious. 43% didn't even know what it was.
On September 15, 1972, the 5 burglars were convicted, as well as Gordon Liddy, the CRP special counsel, and his partner Howard Hunt.
That October, the break-in and activities of espionage were officially linked to the CRP.
Wow. That November, Nixon was finally re-elected and defeated his opponent George McGovern by more than 20 percentage points.
On January 8, 1973, Judge John Sirica began the trial of the burglars.
Howard Hunt pled guilty to 6 counts: conspiracy, burglary, and illegal wiretapping. He also claimed no one higher up was involved.
4 of the burglars, Barker, Gonzalez, Marinas, and Sturgis, pled guilty as well.
James McCord, the security chief of the CRP, and Gordon Liddy pled innocent while being convicted on 8 counts of conspiracy, burglary, intercepting wire communication, possession of intercepting devices, and illegally eavesdropping, aka the Cheeseman.
Wow, that's a lot.
Indeed.
After a year, on February 6, the House of Representatives voted for the Judiciary Committee to investigate Nixon for grounds to impeach because of the scandal.
By March 7, people who were former staff of Nixon were convicted by a jury for crimes related to Watergate.
On April 17, 1973, White House staff appeared before the committee and said that Nixon had no prior knowledge of the scandal.
Nixon then replaced all of the people involved in the scandal, like Dean, Hettleman, and Enrichman.
Then, something really big happened.
Oh, what happened?
The Washington Post reported that John Dean told investigators that he discussed the cover-up with Nixon at least 35 times.
Wow. That's awkward if you ask me. Dean testified before the Senate, claiming that Nixon was involved in the cover-up soon after the break-in, and that the White House was involved in political espionage for years.
For years.
Wow.
Nixon was named an unconvicted co-conspirator. While defending himself in a press conference, Nixon famously stated, "I am not a crook."
Wow. Sounds familiar to a very special line. Special Prosecutor Leon Jaworski authorized the testimony of 64 tapes that Nixon was withholding with his alleged executive privilege.
Unlike before, at the current time, 51% of people believe that Nixon will be convicted of breaking the law. What a change.
Wow, that is a change. Nixon ignored this and edited the transcripts of the tapes. He promised to release 1,200 pages.
These transcripts shocked everybody. A lot of language was covered by the words, expletive deleted.
On May 9th, 1974, Nixon's impeachment hearings began. The articles of impeachment included misuse of power and violating his oath of office, failure to comply with House subpoenas, and obstructing the Watergate investigation.
The U.S. v. Nixon Supreme Court case ruled 8-0 that Nixon needed to release the rest of the tapes, which Nixon tried to deny with his executive privilege.
Abuse of power, I see. The transcript showed that Nixon ordered the FBI to stop its investigation of the break-in. Other transcripts show how he directed a cover-up.
His chances of staying president didn't seem very great.
I 100% agree.
Nixon then announced that instead of facing impeachment, he had decided to resign from his position. But that was not the end of the scandal.
A poll showed that 56% of those surveyed believed that Nixon should be tried for possible criminal charges arising from Watergate.
Is it just me, or this is nothing compared to what presidents do in modern times?
Not at all. Totally. On September 8th, 1974, President Ford, who took over the presidency, granted Nixon a full pardon for all of his
A
offenses.
full pardon? It seems like there's more to this case.
Way more. Which we could start talking about the conspiracy theories.
Yes, let's start with the death of Dorothy Hunt, the wife of ex-CIA officer and Watergate planner E. Howard Hunt.
Dorothy Hunt died in the crash of the United Airlines Flight 553. Many think that it wasn't an accident.
Investigators stated that Dorothy, who also worked for the CIA, was carrying $10,000 in $100 bills at the time of the flight.
What is the need for all that cash? Sounds very suspicious.
You're so right.
The FBI had an unusually fast appearance at the crash site, while it triggered suspicion amongst many people.
Was she murdered for knowing too much about the scandal?
Another interesting clue to this theory was private investigator Sherman Skolnick. He claimed that 12 passengers on the flight were at some point linked to the Watergate.
That's a lot of passengers. In the end, it was found that the plane went down due to a pilot error, but there might be something deeper.
Another theory was that the Watergate Scandal was a plot to bring down President Richard Nixon.
Nixon's ex-lawyer, Geoff Shepard, stated that the tape recorded on June 23rd actually proved that Nixon was acting in good faith.
Shepard was then convicted that this was a media alliance with the Democrats in order to bring down Nixon's presidency.
This is some interesting information. However, it seems very biased coming from his ex-lawyer.
Indeed, very biased. Do you know any other conspiracy theories?
Let me think about it. I have one more.
Oh.
In my opinion, it's the most probable.
Really? You got me involved. Intrigue me.
The theory is that Nixon, wait for it, was cursed by the gods of baseball.
The gods of baseball? Alright, let's see what it says. It was said that the gods of baseball brought the Watergate scandal down on Nixon as punishment for not taking action to keep the Washington Senator baseball team in the state.
What a great theory.
Indeed.
Now that we know the details, what do you all think?
Is Richard Nixon really a crook? Was he justified for his actions?
Is there something we don't know? Maybe one of the theories is true.
Who knows? Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed.
I've earned everything I've got.